Good morning, everybody. This is your brother Speech. I was watching MSNBC this morning, about to go do a rehearsal. I wanted to talk a little bit about Snoop and the Gayle King thing. Um, so we all know what happened. Obviously, Gayle King did an interview with, what's her name? What's the woman's name?
Lisa Leslie.
Lisa Leslie, the basketball player, yes. And did an interview with her and asked questions about Kobe Bryant and the whole sexual assault case that happened 10 years prior or something like that. And rightfully so, most of the people in the black community were extremely upset about the questioning that Gayle was pushing with Lisa Leslie. And Lisa Leslie answered the questions with absolute grace, strength, dignity, and put the entire case of Kobe Bryant and the woman that was victimized or felt victimized, put that entire case into great perspective. And I thought she did an excellent job. Most people did. So anyway, Snoop then does a video and he talks about his anger. It's a friend of his. He knew him very much personally. He also represents LA. Snoop obviously represents LA. So there was a personal thing that Snoop felt on his heart and started talking about those things. Now, anybody that knows Snoop, which millions of people know Snoop, if you've been following his career for most of him being out, you know the subject matter Snoop tends to talk about. And you know that he was from a gang, you know that, or maybe still is, and you know that his way of approaching things has always been in this sort of vein. Like that's his MO. Listen to any lyrics, anything from Snoop pretty much, other than the few gospel and reggae records he's done. That's his thing. So what I find disturbing is that the entire narrative now has changed from what Gayle did, which was inexcusable. Snoop did an apology video, I guess, last night, and totally apologized for what he did. And now the media, I'm looking at MSNBC, and they're going in on Snoop by and large. And I've seen a lot of press stand up for Gayle. I saw these hashtags, I stand with Gayle. And the whole narrative has been stolen. And now it's talking about black men bashing black women and black women being able to speak their mind. And that was never the issue. So I don't think the black community ever had an issue at all with black women speaking their mind in the media, nor Gayle speaking her mind in the media. What the issue was initially was she was inappropriate with a man who's passed away and a man whose legacy was being tarnished by the consistent drilling of a particular area of his life over and over in an interview without letting it go. And the first question, I don't think most people had the problem with. And then it's the second question. Well, you really wouldn't know, would you, Lisa? Just keep badgering about this same issue. And I think the underlying issue that everybody acknowledges, I'm not bringing this to the light now. Everybody's issue was a few things. How Oprah and Gayle have only covered black men who are accused of rape or sexual assault, and not covered any white men. So that's one problem that people rightfully have noticed. And then the other problem was that, was that it? I think that was the main point that people were mad about. Mm-hmm. And so anyway, so with Snoop, I guess the other problem is that black men tend to get torn down in white media. And so for her as a black woman to, outside of the realms of normal questions, to go in on something that happened 10 years ago and was settled out of court, the victim agreed to settle, and the perpetrator, the alleged perpetrator, agreed to settle. Thirdly, the man has passed away now in an absolutely terrifying and gut-wrenching accident that all of us are still hurting from. And your timing, Gayle's timing, her tone-deaf understanding of the nuances of what's going on in this nation and what was going on with her asking questions like that totally being missed. And so that's what people were angry about. So anyway, back to Snoop. He says his video about I'm gonna come at you or something like this, calls her a B word, all of this type of stuff. And so now on MSNBC, people are outraged about this. What bugs me about that narrative is that Snoop, from the beginning to the end of his career, has been calling black women B's and H's and all types of stuff. That is his MO. He's been doing it since day one all the way to now. And now people have an issue with him calling her a B or whatever. And what bothers me about that is you have an issue with it now because she's part of an establishment. But you never had an issue with it for all of these decades that he's been saying it on record, all of these years. So much so that you haven't had an issue with it, that white media has been the ones to embrace Snoop wholeheartedly. I say this sincerely because there is conscious hip hop artists that have sold millions of records that white media never puts on their shows. They're never on their cooking shows. They're never hanging with Martha Stewart. They're never hanging with Larry King. They're never on the late night shows on the couch. And yet Snoop has been one of those artists that white media has made a media darling. He is like your next door neighbor, Uncle Snoop. I'm not mad at Snoop. I love Snoop as an artist to some extent. And I have nothing against him as a human being other than the things that I'm speaking about. I'm not against him. This is not a rant against him. It's a rant against white media's hypocrisy. When they lift up one guy for all of these decades, and then at this moment, when he attacks somebody that they consider to be part of their establishment, they want to come at him for words that he's been saying basically his whole time. The part that I felt was way out of order. I feel that the B word is out of order. My wife was telling me, yeah, I feel like that's out of order. And I do too. And I've been feeling like that word is out of order for all of these hip hop records that we've been just bombarded with for over, 3 decades now. But I also felt more so that him saying I'm going to come at you or something like that was totally inappropriate. Meaning the implication was that there's going to be violence done. Now, he pretty quickly came out and said, that's not really what I'm trying to do. She's a 70-year-old woman. That's not where I'm at. And backed off of that. Then later did a full-throated apology. So again, I'm looking at television and now he's sort of made to be this demon right now. Excuse me. And she's sort of made to be a total victim. And I'm like, you're missing the whole point of what this controversy was in the very beginning. It was an issue of disrespect to Kobe Bryant, his rightful, amazing legacy, and letting this man rest in peace and letting his family have a great vision of who this man was and not bringing up one incident, not a series of incidents, one incident that was settled the way that the court and the people involved decided it should be settled. It was settled. So bringing it up as one issue is fine, but belaboring it and asking more and more questions, what was your end? And that's what Snoop, I think 50 Cent spoke about it. Maybe Lil Boozy spoke about it. A lot of people in the hip hop community was like, what is your point, Gayle? And that's still very relevant. What is your point? So that's what you got a backlash from. You didn't get a backlash because you dared to say some type of journalistic integrity-oriented question about something that happened 10 years ago. Others had raised that. That was already in the news. But you kept badgering it. When a woman that knew him personally and was friends with him personally denied that type of behavior in this man's character. She unequivocally denied it. And you kept going at it. And you and Oprah have an apology to do. Speaking of apologies, so I give Snoop props. Snoop apologized on national television or, knowing it was going to go national. Apologize. Where is your apology, Gayle? For how you treated this man in an interview. And where is your apology, Oprah and Gayle, who are both of them I love and respect. This is not a demonization of your character, but it is a rebuke, a correction of the things that you and Oprah have been doing in recent years concerning sexual allegations against women from black men, but not doing one thing for sexual allegations, which are equally or even more so relevant out in this society from white men to women. You're not dealing with it. And so to me, it's simple. All you would have to do, Gayle or Oprah, is simply apologize for the lack of balance, which is obvious, or simply do some specials like you've been doing with R. Kelly and with Michael Jackson and was about to do with Russell Simmons. Well, do some specials on some of the other perpetrators that you feel need to be exposed to the rest of the nation. And it's been, in particular, Harvey Weinstein or Steen, whatever they pronounce it like. Nothing. All we get to see is pictures of you hugged up on him. Where is the outrage and the vitriol or the whatever you want to call it, journalistic integrity or, whatever you want to call it, righteous indignation against sexual predators? Well, where is it on all sides of the fence? And that's what people are upset about. So anyway, I don't know. Queen, did you want to say anything? I know I've been just ranting.
No, I think you got it.
Well, me and my queen this is our morning time. I'm about to go to rehearsals and I don't know. I see things on the news. I don't talk about it all the time, but it frustrates me, the hypocrisy. And now it's like full-fledged coming down. We stand with Gayle, black men need to let black women speak and all of these types of totally different subject matter. So what do y'all think? This is my view. What do y'all think about it? Anyway, talk to you later. Peace and strength.